Hello and welcome to Solar Alberta's 2022 Solar Show. Today's session is called Affordable Commercial Solar Financing. Please note that we have enabled closed captioning for this presentation. You can turn the captioning on in the toolbar at the bottom of your Zoom screen. My name is Mackenzie Velders and I'm the Public Awareness and Communications Assistant at Solar Alberta. I would like to take a minute to acknowledge that I am hosting you today from Fort McMurray, which is located on traditional Treaty 8 territory in the homelands of the Métis. Treaty 8 territory is the traditional gathering place and home of many Indigenous peoples, including the Cree and Dene, nations whose ancestors have cared for and nurtured these lands since time immemorial. Please note that we will be recording this session and making it available on our website and YouTube channel following the show. We were delighted to have so many people register for this week and for this event. To start, we would like to thank City of Edmonton Change for Climate for sponsoring the 2022 Solar Show and Vancity Community Investment Bank for sponsoring this session in particular. We are happy and grateful to have them both as sponsors. I would also like to thank the Clean Energy Improvement Program for co-hosting this session with us. Following the presentation this afternoon, there will be a Q&A period in which you can all participate. The formal Q&A will run until about 1:15 the hour, and then we will be inviting you to join us for an additional 15 minutes in a more relaxed Zoom meeting Q&A at the end. The link for the extended Q&A will be posted in the chat at the end of the formal Q&A, and I will draw your attention to it at that time. So please make sure to click on the link before leaving the webinar. The entire session will wrap up in an hour and a half. The link, as this is an online conference and trade show, I would like to encourage you all to check out our online trade show during the week. We have listed here all the wonderful organizations who are participating in the trade show. To view their exhibitor booths, which include a listing of key solar related services, contact info, and video introductions, please click on the link being posted in the chat now. During our formal Q&A period, we will be using Zoom Q&A for questions rather than the chat box. So please enter your questions in the Q&A section. Also, please click on the little thumbs up symbols to upvote questions you like. Now, before we move forward, we are going to do a quick poll to get a sense of who we have joining us today. Please take a minute to answer the question popping up on your screen now. And I will launch this poll now. There you go. It should be showing up on your screen now. In the meantime, I encourage you to also take a minute and pop your name, land acknowledgement, and any contact info you are comfortable sharing in the chat now and throughout the event so that others can look you up on LinkedIn and some relationships can begin to be formed. Excellent. Thank you very much for participating in the poll and in the chat. It is always helpful to know a little bit about the audience before we dive in. It looks like today we have a lot of solar curious individuals and solar industry professionals. Many of you have attended a few of our events in the past. Excellent. And it looks like we have a pretty even spread of who's excited for which upcoming sessions at the show. Perfect. Thank you so much for participating in the poll. I'm going to end that now and share the results with you all so you can quickly take a look at them. Perfect. I'm going to stop sharing that now and I'll start to talk a little bit about who Solar Alberta is and what we do. Did you know that this is Solar Alberta's 31st year of operation? Solar Alberta is a not-for-profit society that is dedicated to accelerating Alberta's transition to a just and sustainable energy future. We do so by advocating, educating, and serving as an industry and community hub. Our membership is made up of over 350 individuals and businesses. We provide a number of services, including managing a solar directory through our website. In this way, we act as a bridge for installers and suppliers to connect with their customers and clients. You can see a screenshot of the directory here on this slide. In addition to our website services, we run a number of educational programs, such as the Solar Seminar Series, new multilingual Solar 101 workshops, including one in Hindi that is planned for February 23rd. And of course, this incredible annual solar show. We are very proud to share that in 2021, our solar show reached people from over 60 different municipalities and counties, which you can see on this map. With over 2,000 people registered for our show this year, we anticipate excellent reach across our province and around the world once again. In addition to our live online programming this week, we also have great content available on our website from our 2021 show that is still relevant today, including one on solar PV recycling, which we get questions about a lot. We have spaced our sessions out in such a way this year that you could easily view one of those other sessions in between live webinars this week. And for those of you who are solar industry professionals or transitioning into the sector, you will be pleased to learn that we have also now made available all of the paid content from last year's solar show via our new pay-per-download training service. You can go to the training video link in the chat to find those affordable workshops. In addition to some solar show workshops that are industry oriented, this spring, we will once again be hosting a number of online courses for solar industry professionals or those transitioning into the sector. Our 7 courses are online Tuesday and Thursday evenings on 3 to 5 nights over 2 to 3 weeks. You can already register for all of our courses at the link provided in the chat. Those include the brand new course about working with Alberta's wire providers, which will expand upon the related workshop being offered this afternoon at 3 p.m. Also, if the course you're interested in isn't offered at a time that works for you, you can now pay to download most of our past course content. These recorded courses are available alongside our paid past solar show workshops in the new solar training video section of our website. And that link has been shared in the chat for you. We would like to take this opportunity to encourage you to join Solar Alberta as a member. For this week only, we are offering a discount on our individual and student memberships. To celebrate having turned 30 in 2021, from February 7th to 11th, you can purchase an individual or student membership with a 30% discount. The link to become a member is also being placed in the chat. On March 16th, we will be hosting our annual general meeting, and I would like to invite you all to sign up as Solar Alberta members, attend, and elect your new board. There are a number of vacancies to fill on the board this year. If you're interested in applying to serve on the board, you can do so through our website until February 18th. If you can't quite commit to board work but are looking to support the work that we are doing at Solar Alberta, please consider volunteering or donating. Volunteers are eligible for free membership and $100 off of a course each year after committing 15 hours to Solar Alberta. The links to sign up as a volunteer or donate are now in the chat. And last but not least, I want to take this opportunity to mention that this past year, Solar Alberta won an Emerald Award. As part of our Emerald Award, the Emerald Foundation kindly made a short documentary about Solar Alberta. After the session, you can feel free to check it out in the link we are sharing now in the chat. We are incredibly proud and thankful to have been recognized in this manner for the second time in our history. And now I'm delighted to get this session underway by introducing the speakers. But first, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Excellent. Perfect. There we go. First, we have Jonathan Frank joining us. He serves as head of clean energy at Vancity Community Investment Bank and is involved in all aspects of project financing. John joined Vcib through the acquisition of CoPower, Canada's first sustainable investment platform and a leading provider of clean energy and efficiency project financing. At CoPower, he served as a managing director and head of project finance. John has been involved in a wide range of clean energy technologies across Canada that reduce greenhouse gas emissions and generate strong financial returns, including solar and wind energy, energy efficiency retrofits, geothermal heating and cooling, and energy storage. John has served on a number of advisory committees on low carbon strategies for the Canadian Green Building Council, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, Green Municipal Fund, and Low Carbon Cities Canada. Prior to joining CoPower, John was Director of Business Development at SunEdison, Canada, and began his clean energy career in technical sales and business development at RESCO Energy. John was one of the founding executives of Emerging Leaders for Solar Energy and has served as co-chair of the National Board of Directors, leading initiatives including a charity solar project in Nepal and Canada's first national mentorship program for renewable energy professionals. He is also the 2015 recipient of the Canadian Solar Industries Association's Game Changer Award for Emerging Solar Leader. Next is Kimberly Lee. Kimberly joined the Sustainability Services team at Alberta Municipalities in 2021 and is the commercial program lead for the Clean Energy Improvement Program. She supports municipalities in offering innovative, low-interest financing to property owners for energy efficiency and renewable energy upgrades. She has 3 years of experience in mechanical design in commercial facilities and holds a Bachelor of Applied Science degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Waterloo. Kimberly lives in Treaty 6 territory in Edmonton and has 2 cats. And last but not least, Sieben Otoni. Sieben is the Director of the Clean Energy Improvement Program administered by the Alberta Municipal Services Corporation. Sieben has over 10 years of experience in energy and climate change policy and programming. From his tenure at the Government of Alberta, Energy Efficiency Alberta, and the Alberta Municipalities, Sieben led the development and implementation of a series of energy efficiency and renewable energy incentive programs targeting the residential, commercial, and nonprofit sectors across Alberta. Sieben currently manages the Clean Energy Improvement Program, an innovative program that allows property owners to access competitive, long-term financing to make energy efficiency and renewable energy upgrades, with upgrades repaid through their property tax bill. Sieben and Kimberly will be talking more about this program today, and their colleague Stephanie on Friday will continue this conversation. Thank you to the panelists for joining us today, and I will now pass the mic over to Jonathan. Thank you.
Well, hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining today. Really excited to be with you talking about this exciting topic and the fast-growing market of solar in Alberta. I will share my screen here. As I'm bringing it up, obviously from my bio, you can tell that I come to this financing space from the solar industry. So I started my career about the first half involved in actually building rooftop and ground mount solar projects, developing projects from scratch through to long-term operations. And now I'm focused on financing those very projects, ensuring that, or doing my part to ensure that financing isn't a barrier to your next solar project. And so I'd like to start with the question, can the pursuit of profit also deliver positive impact for communities and the planet they inhabit? And we say yes. We are Vancity Community Investment Bank, but you can call us Vcib. We are a values-driven bank on a mission to finance a sustainable tomorrow. And we are the only Canadian bank exclusively focused on financing organizations that drive social, economic, and environmental change. We were born from the values-based community-first model sharpened over 75 years by a financial cooperative with over 500,000 members. That's Vancity Credit Union. Vancity Credit Union, you may know, is based in Vancouver, but VCIB is a Schedule I Canadian bank, and we serve all of Canada. We recently acquired CoPower, which is how I came to join VCIB. CoPower was Canada's first sustainable investment platform and a leading provider of financing to clean energy and energy efficiency projects. And together, we will accelerate investment in affordable and sustainable communities. Vancity is also a member of the Global Alliance for Banking on Values and a certified B Corporation. And we truly define ourselves by our actions rather than our words. The company we keep, the change we drive, these are our investments and these are our returns. And so we are purpose-driven. That means we want to use the tools of finance to drive immediate and lasting change in our communities. We're client-focused. That means building strong partnerships, and it means working tirelessly to help our clients achieve their goals. We're solutions-oriented, so we roll up our sleeves and approach project-specific complexities with creativity and positivity. And that's often very important when it comes to solar. And we put sustainability as a priority. Our depositors and borrowers have confidence that their funds are circulating to support a more resilient and impactful economy. And so we use the tools of finance to drive immediate and lasting social and environmental change in our communities. And we do that across four main parts of the bank. Social purpose real estate, where we prioritize financing for affordable housing and high impact community projects. Clean energy financing, where we connect clean energy developers, installers, and building owners with the financing they need. And of course, we'll talk about that more in detail later. Impact investing, where our impact GICs help generate positive social and environmental change in our communities. And business banking, where we offer a full suite of digital-first banking products to help enable purpose-driven businesses and organizations to grow, prosper, and foster change. Where this may be important for the audience today is that if you are looking to put solar on your roof or you're a solar installer, for example, the clean energy financing stream may only be one area where we can support your business. So please feel free to contact me for any other of your potential banking needs.
Sorry to interrupt, John, but you're cutting in and out a lot. Would you mind maybe using your computer mic instead of the headphones?
Sure. Is that
Awesome.
better?
I think so. Thank you.
Okay, hopefully there's no feedback. Might be time for a new headset. It's getting a lot of use over the past 2 years. Of course, the problem here that we're all working to address is that approximately 30% of Canada's emissions come from our built environment. And yet the distributed clean energy and efficiency market is generally underserved by mainstream finance. Despite the widespread availability of clean technologies, building and community scale projects are often stalled due to the upfront capital costs. This is where our clean energy and efficiency financing comes in. We typically work with developers and installers, asset owners and managers, building owners, community cooperatives, and municipalities and their agencies. And we can finance a wide range of clean energy technologies, including small hydro, renewable energy and storage projects, geo-exchange heating and cooling, conservation and energy efficiency retrofit projects, electric vehicle infrastructure and fleets, microgrids, and waste to energy. And we have a proven track record. To date, we have supported more than 2,380 individual projects across Canada, including geo-exchange, solar, retrofits in condo buildings of lighting, deep energy retrofits, and we've deployed and committed millions of dollars of capital. And that's driving real meaningful change. Over 23,400 tons of CO2 avoided to date, and that number is growing fast. So today I'll talk a bit more about our solar financing solutions. And we offer two primary solutions that are right size for various use cases. And I'll preface this by saying that if you're not sure where you fit into this, don't hesitate to reach out. It's always best just to start a conversation, tell us about your project and your organization, and we can start to work on a solution for you. The first solution is really building owner focused. This is ideal for commercial building owners looking to purchase solar from a solar installer and own the solar for self-generation. The second is third-party owner solutions, which are ideal for solar project developers looking to own large solar installations or portfolios of solar and to sell that power to end users, either under PPAs or other kinds of financial structures. So looking at the first one, the building owner as borrower solution, or what we call our commercial solar equipment lending. This is really a fast and flexible equipment financing solution, and we can go from application to approval in as short as 4 weeks. We generally are focused on loan sizes from $500,000 to $10 million. That can cover up to 90% of the capital cost of the equipment, the installation, and the engineering. The rates are competitive in the range of 4.5% to 7.5%, depending on credit quality. And we can generally have repayment terms of up to 5-year fixed rates with amortizations of up to 10 years. And of course, loans can be renewed thereafter. Part of our commercially focused building owner financing solution is our solar installer partner program. Currently, we have, I think, over 20 solar installers across the country. It's probably even more than that by now, including many in Alberta, some of which I know are Solar Alberta members. And this is designed to help solar installers make sure that their clients have access to the right financing. And so by becoming an installer partner, we can guarantee a 4-week turnaround between the moment of the application through to approval of the commercial client's financing. We can provide lower financing limits so that threshold of 500,000 can come down to 250,000, which can make smaller systems eligible. And generally, you can qualify if you offer solar to commercial clients, you install solar arrays of about 100 kilowatts and larger, and you install in any Canadian province except Quebec at this point. And there's no cost to participate. We simply ask our installer partners to refer Vcib to your commercial clients seeking financing and then add Vcib to your website. In many cases, we can provide financing solution documents alongside your proposals to your customers as well, which can help accelerate the process. The second main solution set is for third-party owned solar, and this is generally what we call project financing. And this structure allows us to support larger scale projects or portfolio rollouts of smaller projects. Similar to the other program, we are still targeting, larger projects, commercial scale projects. In this case, our financing, generally starts around $3 million for a single project or portfolio. And on the portfolio side, what that means is that you could have a portfolio of even small residential projects that adds up to a $3 million loan size. We can come in at construction start for projects that are shovel ready. We can provide short-term and bridge financing if you're looking to aggregate a portfolio of projects, or we can go right into long-term financing. And in some cases, and this is something that's becoming a more relevant topic in Alberta, of course, and my fellow panelists will speak to this shortly, we can support on-bill and PACE financing structures. We can provide typically up to 80% of debt financing to total project costs, and our rates are competitive depending on the project's risk profile. Our terms are a bit longer than under the commercial solar financing program, so we can do 2 to 15-year fixed rates and often have amortizations up to 30 years. Here's my contact info, as well as my colleague, Carly. Carly's on the business banking team, and she would be your point of contact for initial inquiries for the building owner-owned solar solutions. And then I'd be your point of contact for any of the project financing, third-party owned financing solutions. But if you're not sure, feel free to reach out to me. I can help you navigate where to go next and make sure that your project is seen and that we bring the right solution forward to you. And then some basic contact info for Vcib here. I will leave it here for now. I believe this deck will be available to participants afterwards. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, or we can chat during the Q&A. Thank you.
Next, we will have Kimberly and Sieben providing an update about the Community Clean Energy Improvement Program. Thank you.
We're just going to pull up the presentation just now. And thank you, John, for that presentation. And while we get that set up, I just want to say thank you to Mackenzie and to the Solar Alberta for the opportunity to present today. We're excited to be here, and we're excited for the large attendance and to present on this new and innovative program. So my name is Steve O'Toney. I'm the director of the Clean Energy Improvement Program, or as we say, Seep for short. I'm presenting today with my colleague, Kimberly Lee, who's our commercial program lead. And Seep has two streams. There's one stream for residential property owners and one stream for commercial property owners. And the focus of today's presentation is going to be on the commercial side. To note, we have a separate presentation on the residential stream at this solar show this Friday, and we encourage you to check it out. It'll be delivered by our colleague, Stephanie Ripley, who's our residential program lead. Next slide. So before we dive in, we just want to give a little context about who we are. So we are Alberta Municipalities. We are a not-for-profit association that's been serving municipalities in Alberta since 1905. we represent and provide services to municipalities where over 85% of Albertans live. And that includes towns, villages, summer villages, cities, so a wide spectrum of municipality sizes. Within our organization, we have the Sustainability Services Department where I work, and that's home to the Seep program that we're going to talk about today, but also the Municipal Climate Change Action Center, or the MCCAC for short. And if you haven't heard of the MCCAC, they provide funding and capacity building programs for municipalities, nonprofits, and also school boards, and offers a wide range of programming, including electric vehicles for municipalities, solar for schools program, and climate adaptation programs. You can get more information by visiting the MCCAC website at mccac.ca. And on that website, we'll have contact information as well, and we'll provide that information at the end of the presentation. But back to Seep. So Alberta Municipalities is the official program administrator for Seep in Alberta. We are designated administrator under provincial legislation. So what does that mean? We partner with municipalities who want to enable this program in their community, and we provide technical capacity support to assess projects and assess contractors that go through the program. Next slide. So at a high level, here's a bit about the Clean Energy Improvement Program. So Seep is an innovative market-based financing tool with really the aim to increase the uptake of energy efficiency and renewable energy installations, or as we call them, clean energy improvements in the program. In other jurisdictions, it's known as PACE, or Property Assessed Clean Energy. You likely have heard of that term. And PACE basically leverages the security and stability of the municipal property tax system. And what that means is in Alberta, municipalities can secure low interest rates and pass them on to property owners to finance these clean energy improvement projects. PACE is quite successful in the US and Canada. In Canada, there are about a dozen municipalities with programs, all the way in Ontario, Nova Scotia, PEI, and Saskatchewan. In Alberta, we have programs that are active in the town of Rocky Mountain House and the town of Devon, and several more on their way. So working with quite a few municipalities, which we'll talk a bit about today and also on Friday. But we have programs upcoming in the city of Edmonton and also city of Leduc. Alberta will likely be one of the first jurisdictions in Canada to offer a full-scale commercial PACE type program. So we're excited to play a leadership role in this space. You may be asking, how is Seep different from other financing instruments out there, loans or HELOCs? What it really boils down to is that Seep, the charge related to the project or the financing, is tied to the property and not the property owner. And that's a key distinguishing factor. So basically, when the property owner sells their property or their home, the new owner would take over payments of the financing while also enjoy the benefits of the energy cost savings resulting from the improvements. This addresses one of the key barriers to the adoption of clean energy improvements, whereby property owners don't always want to undertake these larger scale improvements or upgrades because of concerns of not recovering their full investment if they sell their property in the short term. Repayment to the program is convenient, so property owners can finance the upgrades and then pay them back to their property taxes. And at the end of the day, this really is a municipality-led program, meaning a municipality in Alberta, if they want to participate, they first have to pass an enabling bylaw. Once they do, they will contract us and we'll work with them to deliver the program in their community. Next slide. So what we have here is basically the Seep program and a lot of typical PACE programs at a very high level. So the key mechanics of the program. So under step one here, we have that a municipality passes that enabling bylaw that I mentioned, but they also have to go out and secure financing for the program. So that's a municipal responsibility. Then the municipality will work with us to develop the details of the program, and we will support them through the launch phase. Under step two, once the program has launched and is established, a property owner can visit the program website, submit a pre-qualification form to ensure their property is eligible. Once they do, they'll complete an energy evaluation or an energy audit on their property, and then they'll select upgrades from a list on our website and also a contractor to do the work. Under step three, A property owner will submit a project application. Our team will review it, and if approved, the property owner will sign a financing agreement with the municipality, and then the qualified contractor could begin the installation of the upgrades. Under step 4, the property owner, once everything is installed, the property owner can submit a upgrade completion documents to prove that the installation is complete. Our team will verify that the project is in fact installed and completed. We'll then request funds from the municipality and we will pay the contractor directly. Once all the upgrades are complete under step 5, the municipality will record the clean energy improvement charge or the financing on the property tax roll of the property owner, and the property owner will repay that charge over time. As funds are repaid, and this is that final step going from 5 back to 1. So once funds are repaid by the property owner through their property taxes, funds become available to finance out to new projects. And that's basically PACE programming at a high level. Next slide. So we want to give you a sense of the commercial side of PACE. Again, we have a residential presentation coming this week where we'll talk about residential programs in Canada and the US. So just on the commercial side though, in Canada, not too much traction. There's some programs. There's a program here that we highlighted in Toronto. It's really a high-rise retrofit program. It was launched over 10 years ago and it targets really rental apartments that are 3 stories or more. But in the US, commercial PACE program has really been a big success story. So there's been over 300,000 projects completed, roughly $10 billion of private investment into clean energy upgrades. A quarter of those projects have been renewable and a big portion of those solar energy or solar PV. And yeah, over 22 states have active commercial PACE programs and have saved quite a bit of energy that we listed there. So while it's starting to come here in Canada, it's proved to be an effective model in the US. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Kimberly Lee, and she's going to get into the mechanics of the commercial program here in Alberta. Oh, Kim, you might be on mute.
Thank you, Stephen.
No problem.
I'm also very happy to be here presenting to Solar Alberta today, and I'll get right into what properties are eligible for commercial Seep. So the properties eligible for commercial Seep in Alberta will be privately owned non-residential, which is also known as commercial, and farmland properties. So non-residential is listed here, and I've listed a few types for commercial, industrial, and special purpose. Note that a special purpose property, such as a church, they must pay property tax in order to be eligible for commercial Seep, because the property tax system is how the clean energy improvement charge is collected. And farmland is also included in commercial Seep eligibility. So farmland can actually finance solar PV on the farmland itself, and then the farm residents can apply for the residential Seep program, which, as Stephen has mentioned, will be presented on Friday by my coworker Stephanie Ripley. So here are some of the projects that are eligible for financing under commercial Seep. We have solar PV and battery storage and HVAC equipment, such as chillers, rooftop units, high efficiency boilers, and heat and energy recovery ventilators, and LED lighting. On the left are the limits for capital costs that are eligible for financing for Seep. These are the limits that are set out in our regulation. So for non-residential, there is a limit of $1 million per non-residential property and $300,000 for a farmland property. It's important to note that these are the legislated project capital cost maximums, and the participating municipality can lower these maximums. So why would a commercial property owner choose Seep? Seep offers flexible and affordable financing, and we can offer competitive interest rates with long repayment periods, which are up to 25 years. And property owners can finance up to 100% of the project costs. Financing energy efficiency upgrades and solar PVs are often, the upfront costs of financing these are often a significant barrier to adopting these energy efficiency measures. And combining it with a long repayment term of up to 25 years can make Seep a very compelling package. Seep comes with technical assistance. Home energy evaluations or ASHRAE audits are required for participation, and this helps the property owner identify which upgrades can be the most cost effective for their property. And Alberta municipalities, me and Sieben, also provide technical support. And the last reason is loan transferability. As I mentioned, one of the reasons that people don't undertake these clean energy upgrades is due to the fact that they aren't sure how long they're going to be conducting business at their commercial property. Some upgrades can last 25 or more years, such as solar PV. And with Seep, the loan is tied to the property and not the property owner, which gives business owners more comfort. So if the business owner were to sell their property, the new owner can assume the Seep payments and can also enjoy the benefits. And with the Seep loan for solar PV or any other upgrade the property owner might install, this can be repaid to the municipality at any time. So here are some of the specific benefits of commercial Seep for solar PV. Again, as I mentioned, the benefits and repayment responsibilities of the solar PV or energy efficiency measures that are also included in Seep can be transferred with the sale of the property. Seep offers long financing terms, which are up to 25 years to allow for the owner to repay the solar PV system over its useful life, and it eliminates the need to make a large upfront investment. Seep financing can be stacked with other available rebate programs, such as the City of Edmonton's Building Energy Retrofit Accelerator or BEAR program, and there's also other available rebates, such as the Emissions Reductions Alberta Energy Savings for Business programs. So it's important to really note that we would want participants to take advantage of these rebate incentive programs, and whatever cannot be given a rebate for, you can finance the rest of Seep. The property tax payment for the repayment of the clean energy loan can be structured to be off the balance sheet for the business owner, which does not impact their borrowing capacity. And the last major benefit is that incidental repairs that are required for solar PV can be financed. An example of an incidental repair is if a structural engineer stated that your roof must be repaired in order to support the weight of the solar PV array you want to install, then this is what we would consider an incidental cost, and this can be financed on your Seep project up to a maximum of 15% of the capital cost of the array. So how does Seep work with contractors? To be eligible for Seep financing, all work completed as a part of a Seep project has to be done by a qualified contractor that is listed on our qualified contractor directory at myseep.ca. So if a business owner has a contractor in mind for your project that isn't currently in our directory, that's not a problem. Our application and onboarding process is quick and easy. We simply ask that your contractor become a Seep qualified contractor before you submit your full application. So here are the steps to become a qualified contractor. They would visit myseep.ca/contractor to learn about the requirements and the process. They would then complete the qualified contractor application form and watch a short video onboarding session. And then after they are successfully onboarded, they can appear on the qualified contractor directory. And as a business owner, you can use them for your Seep project. So this is how the financing amount is calculated. This is the amount that you, as a business owner, if you went through a Seep project, this is the amount that you would be paying annually to repay the solar PV array. So the calculation for this annual clean energy improvement payment is defined in our legislation, and it's equal to the capital cost of the upgrade plus the professional service cost plus any incidental cost divided by the effective useful life or the program term maximum. We say effective useful life or the program term maximum because the solar PV array could be amortized for a term of up to 25 years, but the participating municipality could lower it to, say, 20 years. So in this example, a commercial project at a retail complex that includes solar PV plus an ASHRAE audit and a $2,000 incidental roofing repair would be amortized over its 25-year effective useful life, and you'll get around $8,000 as an annual payment. So a little bit of background into what these different costs are. Capital costs are the cost to purchase and install the upgrade, so purchasing and installing the solar PV array. Professional service costs can include ASHRAE energy audits, and it just means that this is a service provided by a professional with specialized education or training. And incidental costs is an amount that is expended on upgrading or preparing the property, which is incidental to the upgrade, but it's required for successful execution. So the example I shared before was for a roof repair to support the weight of the solar PV array. That is an incidental cost, and that can be up to 15% of the capital cost of the project. So this is who we are currently working with for commercial Seep. We are in the initial stages of commercial Seep with the towns of Devon, Drayton Valley, Canmore, and Rocky Mountain House. And we are expected to launch in 2022 with the city of Edmonton. And with that, I will pass it back to Steve to finish this up.
So again, we just want to thank everyone for presenting today. If your municipality doesn't have Seep yet, again, just contact your local representative and ask if they're working on the program. You're also always encouraged to contact our website, myseep.ca, and be in touch with us to ask about any questions about the program, the status of the program in your municipality. You can also follow us on various social media channels that are listed here. And yeah, we're very happy to present this program and talk about the commercial developments. I know there's been a lot of talk about the residential side of the Clean Energy Improvement Program, but we're now starting to see some traction on the commercial side with the launch of the Edmonton program this year. And next slide. And here's our contact information, just in case you want to reach out to us after the show or at any time. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Stephen, Kimberly, and John for such excellent presentations today. We'll get started with the Q&A period now. Our first question is for John, and it is, does Vcib offer financing to residential clients?
Great question. We do not currently offer financing directly to residential customers. Vcib is a commercial-only lender. That doesn't mean that we don't have solutions to support residential solar. In fact, we've done quite a bit of financing of residential clean energy projects, including geo-exchange, heat pumps, and solar. The solution there is typically a third-party owner solution where the end homeowner is receiving the benefits of the solar without the upfront capital cost. And so those are typically done under power purchase agreements or rent to own or lease type models. So there you really need to find a solar developer installer partner who's using that kind of a business model. And then we'd be able to support that installer with their financing to be able to offer this no upfront or low upfront cost solution to the homeowner.
Excellent, thank you. And I also just want to remind everyone that on Friday at noon, we will be having a session about residential solar financing opportunities available to you. So stay tuned for that one. And you can register for that on our website, solaralberta.ca. Next, we have a question, and it is, do any rural municipalities have a Seep program in place yet or in the works?
So all the municipalities that have passed enabling bylaws are listed on our program website, so myseep.ca. If you click on the municipality link, they're all listed there. Like I mentioned, we only have 2 active programs, so Town of Devon, Town of Rocky Mountain House. but we do mention on our website all the municipalities that we are working with.
Excellent, thank you. Next, we have a question from Claudia, and she is wondering if, with all the big players taking over solar farming in Alberta with huge projects, is there any room for smaller projects? So I'm just going to start by mentioning that with Alberta heading towards 30% renewables on the grid by 2030, and us currently only having 2 to 3% solar on the grid today, even with that expected growth in the utility scale developments, there will still be lots of room on the grid for commercial and residential solar to contribute. As well, I would recommend that you watch the Microgeneration 101 session from yesterday once the recording is out, because there's no limit on microgeneration in Alberta. As long as you meet the microgeneration regulation requirements, you are good to go. Would either of you like to add anything on to that?
I'll just maybe add, when it comes to financing type of programs, I think it's perfectly suited for both large and small scale projects alike. So we think with this type of programming being available in more and more municipalities across Alberta over the coming years, it does provide a space for smaller scale projects to come online, and also to help address that upfront capital cost barrier that, you know, a lot of small projects have to deal with, and maybe could be a barrier to uptake.
Yeah, I agree with Mackenzie and Stephen's comments. I'll just add that that is really the beauty of solar. It's so scalable from a single panel to thousands. It's highly effective. And I would argue that we need an all of the above solution. We need small scale projects, mid scale and large ones to solve the climate challenge in front of us.
Excellent, thank you. Now we have a question from Jared. Does CEIP no longer have a requirement for an NRCan energy audit? Oh, Kimberly, I think you're muted.
Sorry.
Still.
I can answer that one. Residential Seep does have a requirement for the NRCan home energy evaluation.
Perfect, thank you.
And we could dive into those requirements on Friday with Stephanie as well.
Excellent, thank you. And next we have a question. Are commercial users eligible if they are leasing the land they are utilizing? Examples are for oil and gas.
If that's for the Seep program, so we don't have all the details yet. So when it comes to those specific questions, it's really going to depend on each municipal specific program. So we're currently developing those terms and conditions right now with the municipalities that Kim mentioned on her slide. So we don't have the specific eligibility requirements yet, but we will have those soon enough, because we are launching this year in the city of Edmonton. So we don't have all the particulars yet about some of those finer details.
Excellent, thank you. Jonathan, would you like to add anything?
In the case of leased property, it's best just to reach out. It'll probably depend on the nature of that lease, what's permitted on the lands or the building. In some cases, the tenant has the ability to install solar. In some cases, it may be explicitly not allowed. So the best thing is to take a look at your lease, see what's included. And when you have that information, you can come to us to talk about whether it's a fit or not.
Perfect, thank you. Next, we have a question from Mary Ellen, and she is asking, can the commercial Seep be used for community wind projects?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what is stated in the regulation, and everything we build the program is off the Seep Act and the Seep regulation. And the Seep Act is an amendment to the Municipal Government Act in Alberta. And the Seep regulation basically fills in some of the details of how it's administered. It does specify that for energy efficiency projects, the project has to result in a reduced energy consumption on the property. And for renewable energy projects, it has to increase renewable generation on the property. So we build a program within those confines. And if we have a project that can satisfy that criteria, then it will be eligible.
Perfect, thank you. Next, Ken is wondering if with property taxes rising steadily since the construction housing boom, are there any considerations to limit borrowing so loan repayments will be sustainable for owners existing and new along with rising taxes?
So it wasn't mentioned in our PowerPoint, but the annual clean energy improvement payment, which is the financing calculation, it cannot be greater than what the property owner paid in property tax in the previous year. So this keeps it affordable, and it's a measure of consumer protection as well.
Perfect, thank you. Next, we have a question from Greg wondering if with large scale solar installed on farmland, does the property owner lose their agriculture property tax rate? And does the machinery and equipment tax come into play?
I am not sure about this one.
Yeah. I was just going to add that, so when it comes to the property tax details side of the program, we really defer to the municipality. Our role is really on the project verification side. So that's a question that we'll have to build with the municipality into the program terms and conditions. We don't have those details because we're not the municipal property tax experts. It's a partnership with the municipality. So we handle the project eligibility, the verification, and the property tax details reside with the municipality.
Just to piggyback on that one, there is the limit according to the legislation, we're not working on any farmland commercial Seep projects yet, but in the legislation, farmland property owners can borrow up to $300,000, and the limit is not applied to them. We're not sure if other municipalities will, rural municipalities will change that, but in our legislation, they can borrow that amount.
Perfect. Thank you for tackling that question. Next, we have a question for John. Does Vcib or is Vcib loan better than their homeowner's line of credit? Because with interest rates high, is it the better option?
Yeah, so you can't really compare it to a homeowner line of credit because we're not lending to homeowners, but the intent here is that we're one more solution or one more option that a building owner, commercial building owner would have to evaluate. And so there's a number of ways that you can finance a solar installation. You can pay cash up front if you have cash. You can draw on a business line of credit if you have that much availability on your line of credit. Depending on the scale of the project, it may just not be sufficient. You could potentially look at including it in a mortgage financing. And then you have this specialized solar equipment financing program, which is really a hybrid. And so it's specially designed to unlock the most capital possible for a building owner to put solar on the roof, in that we're truly valuing the solar equipment and how that solar equipment will reduce your operating costs for that business. So the intent here is that it should allow for a larger percentage of that project to be financed via the loan, and allow the business to continue to operate and use this line of credit for other core business activities.
Perfect, thank you. Next, Garth is wondering how a contractor gets approved as an installer for Seep. I think you might have touched on this already, but if you wouldn't mind revisiting it, please.
They would go to myseep.ca/contractor, provide us a little bit of info, and then they can go and complete an onboarding quiz. And if they pass it, we would list them as a qualified contractor on our website.
And just very at a high level, it's a legislative requirement for us to list all the program contractors on the program website. So it's stated in the provincial legislation. The program is market friendly, meaning even though we have a defined list of contractors, contractors can be added anytime. A property owner can choose a contractor of their choice and ask them to be added to the list. So the list is not finite, it's ever growing. And we try as best as possible to work and onboard with local contractors in the community that launches the program.
Excellent, thank you. Next, we have a question about what commercial actually includes. Does it include industrial sites such as O&G or manufacturing sites?
Commercial does not include designated industrial. So if the oil and gas site falls under designated industrial property, which is facilities regulated by Alberta Energy Regulator or linear property, then that does not fall under commercial Seep.
And that's also indicated in this provincial legislation. So we take our cues from the established legislation and build from there.
Excellent, thank you. John, is there anything you wanted to add for that question?
I think we'd have a fairly broad definition of commercial, so it could include manufacturing sites, warehouses, retail. The easiest thing is if you're looking for financing for your commercial business, whether that, however you define your business, reach out to us and start the process and see if we have a solution for it.
Perfect, thank you. We have about 2 more questions in the Q&A, so if you're still looking to ask a question before we move to the Zoom meeting, type that in quickly in the Q&A section of Zoom. In the meantime, we have 2 questions in one. Is the City of Calgary not launching a pilot program in 2022 for Seep? Also, what is the status of the Okotoks launch?
I think we had an answer to one of those questions in the chat. So there's a representative here, or a municipal staff representative from Calgary, Carly Beaver, and she provided an answer. So we've been working with the City of Calgary, and they did enable their bylaw focusing on the residential side. And so the reason why we enlist all the municipalities working with us is because today's focus was commercial. But Stephanie Ripley will get into the full suite of municipalities working on the residential side, which includes the City of Calgary, which includes Okotoks, and many other municipalities.
Excellent, thank you. And our last question in the Q&A, formal Q&A, is just to remind everyone, are any commercial properties in Alberta eligible for both of your guys' programs?
They would be eligible if they are privately owned commercial property that does not fall under designated industrial.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I could interject briefly. I'm Heather McKenzie, the Executive Director of Solar Alberta, and I'm seeing a trend in the questions. And I suspect a number of our newcomers to solar are not quite familiar with the difference between utility scale developments and commercial developments, or those under the microgen regulation. So I just wanted to, for anyone who's not able to join us for the Zoom meeting room, I wanted to put a quick and easy way of just deciding what you are. Because basically, if your installation is under 5 megawatts, it's commercial or residential, usually is how it would be defined. And then if it's over 5 megawatts, like a really big solar farm, we'd call it utility. The utility scale folks are allowed to produce energy for profit. Everybody other than them is producing solar energy to offset their own consumption. So they're using it, as our presenters were talking about, to basically address their own utility bills. And so I just wanted to make sure before we go to the Zoom meeting that everybody who was in attendance at the webinar understood that today we're talking about commercial, which of course is businesses who are trying to offset their utility bills, and they're not actually looking to profit off of the solar. If they're looking to profit, they're going to need to go even bigger yet. And they're going to need to take it up another notch to the utility scale build. So I hope that clarifies a little bit for some of the folks. I did see in the poll at the beginning, there were a lot of solar curious people in attendance today, and I suspect they might not be entirely clear on what commercial is as opposed to utility scale builds that we're reading about in the news every day. So that's a little interjection, but I'm looking forward to more chatting with you all in the Zoom meeting room. Oh, it looks like there's a question about Bill 86 popping in. Hey, Mackenzie?
Yes, it does. Thank you, Heather, for interjecting there. Gary, I think we'll answer your question in the Zoom meeting when we move over there. Lorraine, would you mind posting the link for that in the chat? Thank you. Excellent. And just before we move over to the Zoom meeting, I want to thank our panelists one last time for joining us today. It was a very excellent session. And I want to thank VCIB for sponsoring this session in particular, along with City of Edmonton Change for Climate for sponsoring the overall solar show. And just a reminder that this webinar will be recorded and posted on our YouTube channel and our website in the near future. Thank you. And now we will transition over to that Zoom meeting.